Our next speaker is Jalen Scott, who's an advocate, organizer, and spiritual leader who serves as the executive director of one of the nation's largest Black trans-led nonprofits. Miss Jalen provides coaching and leadership development for leaders, nonprofits, religious organizations, and collectives working towards racial justice, LGBT inclusion, and gender-expansive organizations. Ms. Jalen's framework blends Black trans feminism with deep Southern spirituality. Give it up for Jalen Scott.
Good afternoon, how y'all feeling? Hey! I am standing here as community leader, not with my organization today, but I'm standing on the stage with local Puget Sound LGBTQ leaders to say this: No Project 2025 in Washington. I want to begin honoring Miss Major Griffin Gracie, the mother to all trans and non-binary people in this country. She passed this week. And I send love to those of us who are mourning her loss. We mourn while we face an onslaught of personal and political attacks by this administration. These rhetorical attacks threaten erasure, criminalization, and hope to scare us back into the closet. We ain't going back to the closet. Miss Major commanded us to tell people that we have a culture, a history, a reason to be here. We have a purpose. Y'all know this. This administration is following the blueprint for seeding authoritarian populist regimes, very similar to what we see and have seen in Russia, Hungary, and Bolsonaro's Brazil. Attacks on LGBT community, especially trans community, are a mark of the rise of authoritarianism. Their goal: suppress resistance to the hoarding of wealth, stripping of social services, erasure of diverse communities, and exploitation of our labor. They want us divided. A people united what? Oh, that was weak. A people united what?
Can never be divided.
I want to name specifically the recent attacks on our community. Attacks on providers and hospitals.
We have been taking a live look and listen in at the protests happening at Seattle Center right now as many speakers are taking to the podium to begin this rally that starts around noon. At some point today, the mass amount of crowd will then continue on and also protest through the streets of Seattle. We don't know the exact route, but Seattle police will continue to update people online, especially on their X account, in terms of any possible road closures that could happen with this. We are continuing to follow and track protests happening across the country right now. We want to check in now with our team in Phoenix. Justin Pizarro is with 12 News and is joining us now, walking with the crowd in Phoenix right now. Justin, what's the latest from where you are?
Good. Hey, guys. So we are in downtown Phoenix. So we started at the state capitol probably about 30 minutes ago. Thousands of people, organizers were hoping about 20,000 people were going to be showing up here. Since then, we have now taken the streets and we have been marching through downtown Phoenix. We're kind of at the start of this parade right now. I have one of the organizers here with me. Thanks for joining us. So any idea how many people have showed up so far?
I don't think we have an exact head count, but it's definitely thousands and thousands. And that's in addition to the dozens of other events across Phoenix and across Arizona today.
So you guys were hoping, we've had several other protests across basically the Phoenix area, the metro area. You were hoping that they would basically get done and that they would come here.
Yeah, exactly. That was the idea. At the same time, we know that there are so many events happening. All kinds of people are stepping up to organize. And so we were excited to see such a big turnout here and also to know there were events happening all over Phoenix.
So what has been the message this morning?
Yeah, we're here to stand up and speak out against the increasing authoritarianism and corruption of the Trump administration.
And so you guys are marching through downtown Phoenix right now. What's the plan when you guys get back?
Yeah, so we're going to continue marching all the way back to the state capitol. We've got a huge crowd here, a lot of energy. We're going to close it out there, but obviously the work doesn't stop here, right? Folks are...
Do you think it'll be another No Kings protest?
I am sure this is not going to be the last, and more importantly, folks are organizing against ICE in their neighborhoods. They're organizing in their workplaces. They're standing up through the courts. So the resistance will go on in one way or another.
All right, thank you. So this is what's happening in Phoenix right now. We've had some dignitaries as well here talking. Basically every kind of sign that you can think of protesting the president. We had the Attorney General out here as well, Chris Mays. One of the things that people are really upset about is Adelita Grijalva. There's a lot of signs in this crowd right here. She's our new representative here in Arizona that is yet to be sworn in. We're like over 25 days out, and she still has not been sworn in. So a lot of these people are very upset that Speaker Mike Johnson has not sworn her in yet. So I talked to Attorney General Chris Mays, who is out here. She actually brought her daughter out here to be a part of this, and she said that she plans to sue Mike Johnson Monday or Tuesday. She said attorneys right here in Arizona are working on crafting that lawsuit. She along with the state has sued the president 27 times, and she said now she has sued Speaker Mike Johnson, or will be suing him once. So this crowd, like she just said, we're making our way back to the Capitol. That is still several blocks away from here, and they're going to finish out this rally. So we're, again, expecting 20,000 people. They had about 5,000 people during the last No Kings protest. 5,000 people signed up. They ended up getting 20,000. And again, these organizers are hoping that that number is going to far surpass 20,000. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Justin, thank you. Joining us live from Phoenix as that No Kings protest continues into the streets now. We want to check in to our crew in Denver right now. Rhea Jha with 9 News is joining us from the rally at the state capitol. And Rhea, what's it like where you are?
Yeah, hi Madison. I'm on kind of an elevated surface so you can kind of get a picture of the amount of people that here. We're, like you said, at the state capitol. Kind of just want to step aside. The entire block in front of the state capitol is filled with people, and I think there's another group marching around the city of Denver right now. We've been talking to a lot of people in the crowd. The biggest issue we've heard from people here is ICE and the detainment of migrants. One group of people we talked to, there was a huge line of people holding a rope about 150 feet long with hundreds of pieces of cloth tied to it. Each of those pieces, they said, represented migrants detained here in Colorado. And I know that there are more than 60 protests going on across Colorado, and they will be going on well into the afternoon, 4 or 5. So we'll see how this progresses. Live in Denver, Rhea Jha, 9 News.
All right, Rhea, thank you. Again, we'll check in with you shortly, continuing to monitor that protest as it's continuing to happen in Denver. We also have a team in Sacramento, California. There are many items on the agenda for the November 4th election. Austin Castro is with ABC 10 News, our sister station in Sacramento. He is at the rally at the state capitol right now. And Austin, I know a lot of people were speaking earlier. It looks like many people are starting to maybe mobilize to then move. What's it like where you are?
Hey, Madison, that's right. Yeah, the programming here at the California State Capitol has slowly wrapped up. You can see here people are making their way away from the West Steps. Something notable here in just the last few minutes right before we came on air is we've seen people with their signs, with their messaging, make their way into the surrounding streets around Sacramento and the State Capitol building. We did get to hear from many notable leaders who spoke to the thousands of attendees. That included Congress people, including Doris Matsui and Eric Swalwell. We also heard from some other notable local figures from faith, education, and business. Now, I did speak with one of the organizers here with Indivisible Sacramento. She tells me that that's all part of their strategy to help represent and send a unified message to the White House and Washington, D.C. here for the No Kings protest. And as you can see here, that protest and the people here wrapping up, but they are still making their voices heard. Now, something unique here for us here in California, as you mentioned, is that special election coming up on November 4th. That all surrounds Proposition 50. That is the redistricting proposition that is at the heart of the special election. Many of the organizers, attendees, and speakers here on stage have been encouraging people here and voters to pass the proposition, all to counter the redistricting efforts that have been going on in the state of Texas. Some of the other issues that we've heard from people here include immigration issues, some issues surrounding the National Guard, as well as presidential overreach. Now, this event has been going on since 9 a.m. We saw a march earlier, another march following the programming, but people here are making their voices heard. The energy has been quite large this morning, and we are continuing to follow this. Certainly quite an event here in Sacramento. For now, Madison, going to send it right back to you from Sacramento, California.
All right, Austin, thank you. We'll check back in with you shortly. We want to go now to our King 5's Alex McClune, who is at Seattle Center now, standing by for an interview with King County Council Chair Gurmai Zahalai. Alex, thank you. Let's check in with you now about what you're hearing. I know Gurmai just spoke in front of the crowd.
Yeah, Madison, just want to talk to Gurmai about his experience growing up and his perspective and what he has seen from his perch as chair of the King County Council. Joining us live, thanks for your time. King County has seen 2 other No Kings protests. What have you noticed from your position? What does this do? You mentioned public opinion. What have you noticed after those 2 prior demonstrations?
Yeah, I think people are out here because authoritarianism rises in the face of silence. When people are quiet, this president is continuing to test how much he can get away with, from putting military boots on the ground to even floating the idea of a 3rd term. He's testing our norms. And so what people are here doing, whether it's at this event or the prior ones, is being loud, going to the streets, saying this is unacceptable. I think mass protests do a really good job at driving a narrative, at getting media coverage, at holding our elected officials' feet to the fire to do something. And so when us in positions of power see everyday people coming together and saying this is unacceptable, you need to do something about it, that lifts the issue to the top. And so that's what I'm feeling right now as chair of the council. I know that's what our attorney general's feeling. I know that's what our members of Congress who are aligned with us are feeling. And so I love that our communities are doing this.
You had a better perspective of the crowd. The trees were a little obstructed by. How does this crowd compare to the 2 previous events that you saw?
Oh my goodness, I've never been on stage at a crowd like this, so I actually just spoke at it, and looking out on the audience, I got jittery. I could not see the horizon line. I couldn't see the end of the crowd. I've heard that there are up to 100,000 people out and about in the different parts of our region right now for No Kings protests, and so this feels like the biggest one to me. I don't have the numbers behind it, but the energy out here is amazing.
Well, you sounded strong up there.
Thank you.
You talked about your experience, your family, refugees from Sudan. Talk about the pillars, the foundation that we're seeing that you feel is eroding and that we report on every day. Talk about how grants, SNAP helped you growing up.
Yeah, we are all out here because we believe in the American dream. We believe that anyone who follows the rules and works hard can make it, no matter what their background or circumstances are. And that was my story growing up here. My family are refugees. We lived low income in South Seattle and in Skyway. But because of HUD investments in affordable housing, we had a roof over our head. Because of Medicaid, we had health care. Because of SNAP, we had food on the table. Because of Pell Grants, I got to go to college. And now, just one piece at a time, all of those foundational programs are being chipped away so that our most vulnerable don't have a chance. And it's degrading the American dream. And at the same time, the president is doing mass deportations and putting military boots on the ground and just taking away the things that we assumed were foundational to being an American citizen and a part of this country.
Before we let you go, I want you to talk about what you're doing from your position as chair of King County Council to fight back against the overreach, the concentration of power that the president has been commanding. What are you doing from your perch?
Yeah, first and foremost, we want to inform our communities what's at stake. Because when you see things like $800 billion of cuts to Medicaid, it's hard to really make sense of what that means for King County. So I've been organizing lots of panels of healthcare experts, for example, and asking them, what do these cuts mean for people here? And what they told us is 13,000 people will lose their reproductive health care in King County if Planned Parenthood gets defunded. They told us that people accessing mental health needs from places like Western State Hospital will wait even longer, up to a year, to get health care in the midst of their mental health crisis. They told us that people in senior centers who require Medicaid for their medical equipment are not going to have it. The CEO of Harborview told us these cuts will mean emergency rooms overflowing and people being treated in hallways. This is the dire state that we're in. And so what our council has been doing is, first of all, trying everything we can to backfill these cuts through new revenue options, through directing funding toward critical programming to support reproductive health care or immigrants or whoever is under attack. And we're also making sure that we sue the federal government. Under our current Executive Shannon Braddock, who's been doing a great job, she's been showing the courage of suing this federal government for things like unlawful conditions in our contracts, because even the money that they are giving us, I know they're cutting a lot, but even the money that they are giving us, they're putting unlawful conditions saying, if we give you money, you have to get rid of all your DEI programs. Like, those are the types of things that we're dealing with, and she has been suing them, and we've been successful in some of those lawsuits. So it's a combination of funding and organizing and lawsuits. We're going to leave no stone unturned in protecting our residents.
A day like this raises awareness, changes public opinion, and it's the turnout, I imagine, leaves you feeling great for what you just told us.
Absolutely. The feeling out here is really beautiful. People are not out here just angry. They are out here from a position of caretaking. They're here to take care of their neighbors, the people who are being attacked the most. They're up here showing up for each other. They're showing up for families like mine, and it's just very special to be here amongst people who really care about each other.
Gurmai Zahilai, thank you for joining us, the chair of the King County Council.